Guys, and welcome back. Today we're getting into another SCP video. Today it's going to be SCP-2006 Too Spooky. I figured since it's October and we're coming up on Halloween, why not do some spooky SCPs? And I came across this one. So we're going to go ahead and check this one out. I don't know what it's about. I'm guessing it's too spooky. I don't know. But let's go ahead and find out and get right into it. Ooh, little Halloween themed logo.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-2006. Object Class: Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2006 is to be contained at Site-118 in an airtight containment cell. SCP-2006 must be constantly monitored for changes in form, which are to be noted immediately.
Okay.
All personnel coming into contact with SCP-2006 are required to enroll in an acting course with a focus on expressing fear and surprise.
Acting.
Every month, SCP-2006 is to be shown at least one new extremely low-quality horror or science fiction movie containing horror elements. All interaction with SCP-2006 must confirm that SCP-2006 continues to believe that said works demonstrate a superb grasp of horror.
What?
Description: SCP-2006 is an anomalous spherical entity roughly 50 centimeters in diameter when in its default state.
Okay.
SCP-2006's stated goal is to cause feelings of fear and/or horror in as many humans as possible. To accomplish this purpose, SCP-2006 possesses the ability to change its shape, mass, volume, density, chemical structure, and voice to any form that it desires. Currently, there is no way to damage SCP-2006. The extent of its shape-shifting abilities is unknown and is currently thought to be unlimited.
Ooh. Okay, so we got an SCP here, and it says that its goal is to cause feelings of fear and or horror in as many humans as possible. Interesting. So that's its goal, and apparently it's a shapeshifter who has the ability to change its shape, mass, volume, density, chemical structure, and voice into any form that it desires. That is crazy, man. Essentially, if you can alter its body that much, I mean, we're talking not just like outside appearance, but we're talking shape, mass, volume, density, chemical composition. He can literally change what he's made out of. So he can shape-shift into anything. That would also basically make him unkillable, since he has complete control over his body down to the molecular structure. I don't know if it's immortal, but maybe. Interesting. So let's keep going.
Currently, SCP-2006 has demonstrated a fondness for taking forms of various entities and villains from the various horror and science fiction movies that it has witnessed. The most common form that SCP-2006 has taken is that of the Rumen from the 1953 movie Robot Monster.
I see. Okay, so they're showing him cheesy old science fiction movies and cheesy old horror movies. It sounds like what they're doing is they're taking basically anything that they would have showed on the old Mystery Science Theater 3000 and showing it to him and telling him, hey, these are the scariest horror movies we have. So I'm assuming he's watching these movies and then turning himself into these things because he wants to scare people. That's what it said his intention was. Okay, so they're showing him movies so that he can turn into those things and scare people. But he's in containment, so they only show him really cheesy movies. Okay, got it.
SCP-2006 is capable of speaking even when it possesses the form of an entity that is normally unable to speak.
Okay.
SCP-2006 will generally attempt to startle and or scare any individual it comes into contact with but after doing so will become affable and friendly. The reason behind this is currently unknown.
Really? So he scares you, but afterwards he's friendly. So if he's friendly, is this like not a dangerous SCP? I don't know.
Although SCP-2006 has repeatedly stated its goal of causing as much fear as possible, SCP-2006 is a poor judge of concepts that cause fear in humans and constantly searches for new methods in which to accomplish its goal. This poor recognition extends to recognition of emotions in humans, as SCP-2006 is incapable of distinguishing between subtle differences in emotion that would be obvious to a human.
What? Okay, so his goal is to scare people, and yet he can't read human emotional cues? He can't read human social cues? So... Oh, okay. You know what? Makes sense. That's why at the very beginning here, he said that anyone who interacts with 2006 takes acting lessons on how to act scared or surprised. Oh, okay. And since he can't tell the difference, he can't tell whether people are genuinely scared or whether they're acting or pretending to be scared, this works. Okay. All right. I see what's going on here. So they're kind of humoring him. It seems like they're just playing into his tendencies, I guess.
This is interview log SCP-2006, playing log now.
Fear me, mortal. I am the mighty Ruman. Cower in fear. Please, mighty Ruman, don't hurt me. It's just me, Doc. I got you pretty good, didn't I? SCP-2006? Oh, dear. Oh, dear Lord. You really frightened me there. I was about to have a heart attack. It's what I do, Doc. Boom. Still got it. So, there was something that you wanted to talk about, Doc. Yes, I was wondering, why exactly do you feel the need to cause fear in others? I don't understand the question. That is, why do you scare people? Oh, that's an easy one. I scare people because it's fun, and you know, it's what I do. Just like you do doctory stuff, I do scary stuff, and I'm the best at it. I don't really see what else there is about it. That you are. I'll take my leave then. Come back around soon and I'll have some really scary stuff next time. By the way, I will eat your soul. Let me out of here. I'm going to die of fright.
Addendum. The current site director for Site-118 has issued the following memorandum regarding SCP-2006.
Okay, so that was a pretty interesting and illuminating little interview there in that little snippet. I was wondering if this thing actually was hostile or had truly negative intentions, and it doesn't seem like it does. It seems like it is a rather... I don't want to say benevolent, that's the wrong word. I would say maybe mischievous is the more correct word. Honestly, it's very reminiscent of like a child, right? Like a child that hides behind the door and jumps out as, you know, their sibling or their parent is walking into the room just to get a cheap scare, just to get a cheap laugh, to make someone jump. Very much in the same vein as like a worker at a haunted house, right? Like their intention is to scare you. Their intention is to surprise you. And that's why they will jump out of something and rev a chainsaw on your face or whatever. That's what they're there for. That's what they're there to do. It feels like this is very much him. SCP-2006. This is very much his personality. It seems like that's what he wants and enjoys doing, but he doesn't seem hostile about it, because in the interview, when he jumped up and scared the interviewer, the very first thing that he did was say, "Oh, it's just me." So he got the scare out of the doctor and then immediately calmed him down. He didn't continue to scare him. He didn't come at him or act like he was going to attack or hurt him in any way. He doesn't seem like a hostile entity, but I completely understand why he's classified as Keter based on his shape-shifting abilities. Yeah, they're giving him all these cheesy B-rated movies because, I mean, if they were to ever show him something terrible, if they were to ever show him Freddy Krueger or Alien or something, it could get bad. Again, I don't think he would act upon it. Even if he were to see the movie and change into an alien and look like a xenomorph and come up and scare you, I don't think he would eat your face off. It doesn't seem like that is his purpose. But okay, all right. There's a little bit more here. Let's see what else I got.
Attention all personnel. I've been getting reports of some of the lax behavior regarding SCP-2006. Many personnel have been heard laughing at SCP-2006 during surveillance when it watches a new movie or when it attempts to scare individuals. Some personnel have been heard questioning why SCP-2006 is classified as a Keter entity. I am here to remind you that a Keter entity is a Keter entity, regardless of how innocuous it may seem.
Absolutely.
No, SCP-2006 is not a rampaging demigod, nor is it a regenerating super lizard. However, it possesses the same level of danger as any other Keter that the Foundation has contained. Think of SCP-2006's purpose. It wishes to scare people. Imagine what would happen if SCP-2006 broke containment and found out what really scared people. Imagine if it saw the horror and fear of war, or the concepts of paranoia or phobias common to each and every human being. Imagine if it found the true horror of a nuclear holocaust or an XK-class scenario. Now, couple that with an entity that possesses shape-shifting abilities with no known limits, and you'll understand why it's classified as Keter.
Absolutely.
All personnel mentioned above have been suitably disciplined. I do not want to hear about this again.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Its shape-shifting abilities to change its size, mass, volume, density, chemical composition, all of that makes it wildly not only dangerous, but when it comes to the SCP universe, they classify things by their difficulty of containment. Containing something that can turn into anything, anyone, regardless of size, shape, weight, again, chemical composition, it would be pretty difficult to contain if it wanted to get out. It doesn't really seem like it wants to get out. They haven't really mentioned anything about it wanting to leave the facility. So it seems like it's maybe content where it is because it thinks it's doing what it's doing. It's fulfilling its purpose, I guess, and scaring the researchers. Overall, this is a pretty neat one. It's interesting that this one is relatively benign, right? It's doesn't really seem to have hostile intentions, doesn't seem to want to hurt anyone. It only wants to elicit the feelings of surprise and fear. And then once it does that, it pulls back its scare tactics and is ready to have like an affable conversation, which is actually seemingly pretty unique for an SCP. Either the SCP is so aggressive or violent that it just doesn't have a conversation or want to have a conversation. Oftentimes, if an SCP can communicate, it's not always clear in its intentions or clear about what it wants. Plague Doctor is a great example of that, where he can clearly communicate with the researchers and with the Foundation. However, what he says oftentimes doesn't make sense. You know, it only makes sense to him, and he can't adequately verbalize what he's doing or what he's trying to do or what the pestilence is even. So this is an interesting one in that it's intelligent, it can speak and communicate, yet it's still non-hostile, but its potential for danger is through the roof. So this is a pretty interesting one. It's a unique one. Definitely has its own little flavor to it, and I like it. That being said, guys, I hope you liked it too. If you did, go ahead and click that like button. Subscribe if you haven't too already. It really helps the channel out. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what other spooky SCPs they got out there. What other maybe Halloween themed ones? What other maybe Halloween themed, or maybe it's just horror themed? I know there's a lot of those in the SCP universe, so go ahead and leave them down in the comments and we will get through them this month. As always, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks so much for watching the video. Take care of yourselves and have a spooky day.